Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, the Villain Club, as we all know it, right? And it's about anything and everything. That's simply what it is, and nothing is off limits, all right? And nothing's off limits, and we talk about anything and everything. That's just what it is. And whether you agree or we agree to disagree, it doesn't matter, you know? It's just shared opinions. No hate, you know? Just saying. And it's respecting one another's opinions and all that and thoughts. Maybe perhaps I'm speaking for the people that are afraid to speak it, or maybe can't speak it, or maybe they don't want to because it might look like it's bad or whatever. But that's what I'm here for. I'm your mouthpiece. I'm right here for you. All right, so let's talk about what we got going on today in the V Club, right? I mean, we could be talking about Kamala this and Kamala that. Actually, I do have a topic on that. Probably talk about that tomorrow. You know, today I wanted to talk about what's on my mind here, and I came across news and information today about how Elon Musk, right, was being blocked by the California Coastal Commission. All right, and I'll talk about that more into detail in a second here, but let me just give you a little backstory and my initial thoughts on Elon. All right, so 10 years ago, right? The 10, it was like 12 years ago, maybe. Um, Elon Musk was like on the scene, and uh, being able to be the guy to, be the producer of mass electric cars in the U.S. with, subsidies from the government. He was the darling for the Democrats, right? Because he represents kind of what falls in line with the Green Deal, New Deal, and all that stuff. Electric cars. I mean, it fits perfectly into what they're trying to do. So he became kind of a part of that machine, right? And whether he, was acknowledging it or not, or wanted to be or not, or just happens to fall into it. That's just what it was, right? So, as time went on, and I didn't like him. I didn't care for him. I didn't like him. I just thought, he was just an arrogant piece of shit, to be honest with you. But as time went on, I just like whatever. I never really thought about him much. He popularized crypto, right, with Dogecoin, Um, and over time, he became one of the richest guys in the world, right? With the rise of Tesla, his electric car um, company, electric car company. But he also ventured off into other aspects of technology and business, right? And another piece of it is SpaceX, right? Because NASA, ever since the doomed NASA, space shuttles now that's been retired, I think since I think they retired the last one back in 2011, right after um, the last major disaster they had with it, I think it exploded coming into the atmosphere and completely burned up because there was a piece. I think what happened was a piece of the foam fell off and it nicked the shuttle, even though it's just a piece of foam. But think about it: at high speed, altitude, and speed, it still could be as sharp as a rock in that sense, and it cut enough, just enough of a shuttle to be able to make it vulnerable, and so that vulnerability upon going back into this was upon taking off when they went into space. So That happened, and then upon re-entry, that vulnerability going through the atmosphere and all that stuff, it you know lit up and blew up the shuttle, and then that became the end of the shuttle program because they keep talking about replacing the shuttles because they've been an aging fleet of shuttles that have gone into space, but really haven't technologically replaced them, right? And so now NASA's been on somewhat of a hiatus because they haven't had a shuttle program since they retired the space shuttles. And so Elon Musk now has aspirations besides electric cars to be able to send a spaceship into space, right? First with rockets, and then of course he wants to do more to send things into space. Kind of like Richard Branson with Virgin, right? He wanted to really popularize space travel, but Branson just really just I don't know. He seemed to have laid off that pursuit of doing that, whereas Elon Musk has been pressing on with really becoming the next space program because NASA's been kind of dead. Right? You don't really hear nothing about NASA anymore. They might launch satellites and all that, or they might do companion astronaut trips with Soviet Union, or not Soviet, I'm sorry, Russia or China, cooperations, right? Missions to go to the International Space Station. But other than that, NASA's kind of dead, Like it just, it's not what it was, all right, back then. And the budget for NASA was it just cost too much money to run the program. I think that's part of the reason why they haven't run it no more. But Elon Musk, for all right, has been doing it on his own with SpaceX. So Elon Musk in California with SpaceX has been launching rockets into space. All right, and so he did everything procedurally in terms of wanting to do more rocket firing into space. And with that, he properly filed the paperwork, do all this stuff, and doing what he's supposed to do, right? The California Coastal Commission is supposed to kind of look into it, make sure it's environmentally friendly, all this other bullshit stuff, right? That makes it difficult to do any business in California, all right, granted. And that's what this Coastal Commission, oh, is it going to protect the wildlife? Is it going to protect the plants? Is it going to damage this stuff? That's what they look at, right? So, now, as of a couple days ago, they blocked SpaceX, Elon, from allowing to fire rockets into space. And is it because of environmental policy and strict regulations? No, no. And courtesy of Carl DeMaio here, all right, the Democrats want to punish Elon Musk, all right, and that's exactly what happened. The Democrats' corruption exposed, all right, because he talked about it here 3 days ago there, and then a day ago here, and I want to show you guys parts of these clips here because I just want to show you how corrupt California government is. Because the reason why they blocked Elon Musk wasn't because of policy and environmentally, this and green this and all that. It was because of his political beliefs have changed, right? And Elon has, flipped to MAGA, right? Make America Great Again. Because you can see the evolution of him over time, right? He got tired of the Democratic bullshit machine, censorship, kind of controlling the narrative and media about what they are and what they're about. So one of the things he's done is, because of that sort of thing, is he really wants to have free speech and no censorship. So he bought Twitter, right? And when he bought Twitter, that really opened up the pathway of true free speech and no censorship, to the dismay and dislike of Democrats, and especially to Democrats in California, being that, a lot of, or pretty much all the companies that Elon has been opened up and developed in California. So they blocked him because he decided he was going to go MAGA, because he got tired of the Democratic bullshit, the lies, the corruption, all this crap, all right? And so that's why he went MAGA, right? He went Republican. He went out and pledged to support Donald Trump. And I think Donald Trump indicated that he's going to bring Elon aboard as part of one of Trump's new appointees within his cabinet, which would be very fascinating if he does, because now you have two brilliant business people that knows how to run a business, run the country, right? Or at least, I guess Elon can contribute to helping run the country, make it America great again, right? So, all because of political retribution, that's the reason why they blocked Elon Musk, right? So let me play a clip of Carl DeMaio here. You know what's fascinating about him? You don't really hear it much, but when do you really hear much of gay Republicans, right? He says he's gay, and that's his lifestyle, and that's fine. But it's very unique that to have, because most gay people tend to be Democrats, right? But, when you look at what Democrats represent, and again, they've always act like they represent in your best interest, whether you are whether it's gender, whether it's race, all these things, right? And when you look at what Democrats are about, they're really not about that. They're more about the super elites, which are rich people, and they keep deflecting that it's Republicans, right? But it's really Democrats. And then when it comes to the minorities, they try to hold them down with handouts, right? And making you, become a sucker towards government, and kind of leeching off of the handouts and all that stuff, right? And that's not the right way to be a part of something, to be a believer in something, by being fed handouts and dependent on government and all that. So that's my whole thing with Democrats in general. But let me take a look at this clip right here, because he brought a fascinating clip.
As election day nears in California, I've got 3 stories the liberal media won't tell you that underscores just how corrupt California, as the become an amazing Twitter and made that a free speech platform. And the left simply kind of just liked like to pull out what they wanted out of him, and nonsense. So he did get a lot of government subsidies out, as the darling of the left. Remember, this is Elon Musk, the guy that a decade ago said, "Look, we've got to switch to electric vehicles, and that's the wave of the future." And all the lefties said, "Oh, wonderful, let's give you all these government subsidies. You're so wonderful. Yes, Green New Deal. Yes, climate change." All that nonsense. So he did get a lot of government subsidies to start his electric vehicle company, Tesla. Since it's gone on to be quite successful, and he's become an amazing innovator on a number of fronts. But the left is now upset because he hasn't remained in the fold. He's actually expressing
He hasn't been loyal to the
libertarian
Democrats,
views. Frankly,
right?
I think he's always been a libertarian. The left simply kind of liked to pull out what they wanted out of him, and now they feel a little burned. So he took over Twitter and made that a free speech platform. And he's got his SpaceX company and doing all sorts of great stuff. But he has the audacity to say, well, I'm not going to vote Democrat this cycle. I'm going to contribute to Republicans, and I support President Trump. The horror. So as a result, Democrat politicians in California have weaponized government against him. And
just like how they weaponized government against the federal government, weaponized the government against Donald Trump, right? With all those, lawsuits and civil suits and all that, trying to find some sort of way possible to put Trump in jail, right? When you really look at the very things that he did, he really did nothing wrong. But they're trying to throw their political opponent in jail or in prison for the opposing party to win, which is the Democrats, right? How corrupt is that? You know what I'm saying?
This is just pure and utter corruption. We covered this story earlier this week. Well, actually, let's start with the first story we covered just a few weeks ago, and that was Elon Musk retweeted a parody video that used artificial intelligence from Vandenberg Air Force Base here. Notice that the Department of Defense, some of these crazy politicians, and now we have another round of retaliation. This time, his company SpaceX asked for permits to launch on behalf of the Biden administration's Department of Defense. So notice that the Department of Defense has signed off on SpaceX application for extra launches from Vandenberg Air Force Base here in California. Well,
Vandenberg is in, it's considered Southern California, or more like Central California, but close to Southern California. I was actually down near there last weekend. They have a Danish village called Solvang out there. It's right near Lompoc, which is where Vandenberg Air Force Base is. And within that area also is where Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch is also at, which, by the way, I was trying to go visit it, or to at least get close to it, and couldn't get that far. There's a gate that cuts off access, and they have it guarded, by the way. So that was interesting to see.
The California politicians vetoed those extra launches, which means that they are putting the Department of Defense in jeopardy with its program. Obviously, our space program is in jeopardy, and it's costing a bunch of jobs that were located in the SpaceX facilities here in California. So Elon Musk went before the Coastal Commission, and the Coastal Commissioners had the audacity to cite his political views as a reason why they were voting him down.
Now that's illegal, right? If you're just going off of that and not going off of real reasons why, it's illegal. I mean, straight up. And that's just straight wrong. It's almost discriminating in that sense. So that's where this comes in right here, because let me pull this up, right? That's all you see on the headlines, right? SpaceX files suit against California Coastal Commission. SpaceX sues California. So that's fascinating to see that they're suing now in return, because it's not right. It's not right. All because you change your political views or beliefs, that all of a sudden you say, no, we're not going to do that, right? But they took it even farther, right? Which is insane to believe. I can't even wrap my head around how dumb California government politicians are, especially up in Sacramento. I mean, look at this right here.
Now, mind you, the California Coastal Commission Act does not allow coastal commissioners to consider anything but environmental issues when they will
There you
suffer.
go.
But California liberal politicians, they don't give a rip. They just care about their politics and power. And the media, of course, doesn't care because they don't want to hold these politicians accountable. The second story that illustrates, some of that,
So
it's
now
still in the
he's
first
suing
story.
the
It's
Coastal Commission, which
retaliation
is
against
great.
Elon Musk. So the third thing that happened, and no one on the social media platforms are understanding how important this is, but I picked up on it, and I need you to understand how consequential this is and how corrupt this is and what sort of impact you as a taxpayer in California will bear because of this retaliation against Musk. Elon Musk, who owns Tesla and X, is now being threatened with divestiture. That is basically a term where you have the government agencies that run the investment funds, because we have a number of pension funds. So they have government pension funds, and these pension funds are supposed to invest in the stock market in a very reasonable and appropriate way.
Yeah, so that's another piece too that I wanted to bring up. So besides Elon suing the California Coastal Commission, which to me he has merit to do so, can you believe that the California State Controller, the California politician up in Sacramento, is trying to encourage the board members of CalPERS, which is the pension fund, to divest from Tesla, right? And where do we hear divesting from before, right? So most recently, we heard about how the stupid protests at these universities throughout the United States, right? They're protesting about, free Gaza, free Gaza, Palestinians are innocent, blah, 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 right? But Hamas is really running the Palestinians and Gaza, right? So in order to stop, whether you want to do a ceasefire or peace, you got to get rid of the terrorist organization that's running the country, Hamas. But you have these universities protesting, saying, free Gaza, we want a ceasefire, we want a ceasefire. And one of the things they were trying to put out there was, this university should divest into Israel. They should divest out of Israel. And it's like, well, they're an ally, one. Two, if there's a lot of investments tied into Israel and it's fine, then sorry about your luck, buddy. So they say, oh, divest, divest. We want, and they're trying to act like they got any leveraging or negotiation power for these stupid ass protesters to negotiate with college officials on divesting out of Israel. And how ridiculous is that? If you don't like the college because they invested in Israel and whatever it is there, then don't fucking go to that college, right? So there's this stupid thing right here, alright? You're trying to ruin the pension funds by saying divest out of Tesla. And if these people actually vote that through, you know how damaging that is to the pension fund? Because you need a stock such as Tesla or Apple or these sort of, they're one of the top five that's tied to the pension fund in terms of being able to earn and build the pension fund with it. That's why you invest into these sort of stocks and all that. And when you have this sort of bullshit, right, where they're trying to push this idea of divesting, all I gotta say is they're just gonna ruin people's lives, and hopefully people don't fall for it, especially the whoever it is, the board members of the retirement funds don't follow through and actually support the stupid ass idea. And so that's what this whole thing is about, is that, California politics, Democrats are a bunch of dummies. These liberal, progressive trash in this state. And people got to do something. If you really want to make a difference, you got to vote out of blue, because all these progressive ideas when it comes to the whole idea of, defunding the police and all this other crap that they really have been destroying California. Go look at Oakland, go look at San Francisco, go look at LA, right? All these big blue cities, right? And by the way, we're a sanctuary state, allowing illegals to come through, funding them with everything that they want: housing, food, debit cards. I mean, might as well just put a red carpet at the borders, let them walk on through on a red carpet, because they seem like they care about illegals more than their own people and the own problems that we have in the state. That's why we have a massive deficit. So this stupid shit that California Coastal Commission is doing, they should lose because of the fact that they're only blocking Elon and SpaceX because of political beliefs. That's definitely indefensible, and definitely can be sued. And yeah, it might take time because they drag shit out, especially if it's not a Democrat favored sort of lawsuit. They're not going to speed this through, but Elon Musk got something here, and I can't wait to see what bullshit excuse they're going to try to, you know, try to do like a workaround and screw Elon again, right? And you could definitely see the corruption about how they're trying to do all this shit to people, right? And this needs to stop, right? How are we going to stop this, right? Because this, deep state is definitely a deep state, right? Super corrupt, and it's the elites that are really threatening to take over your lives. All right, you guys got to wake up. But I just wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on this, and I hope Elon wins on this thing. Man, what a difference 10 years make, huh? But yeah, so share with me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Comment down below, and subscribe, hit the bell icon. I just want to say thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.